Welcome back, everybody. This is Graybeard Gaming, and you are back for another episode of Vintage Poorboy on Elm Creek. So we're decided that we're going to lease the equipment this time as a one-time only exception to our no leasing rule, just to see if it's worthwhile to actually do the cotton on a small scale. I do find that it's very interesting. I'm actually running this with an AI worker just because it is a little bit of a pain in the neck to keep straight. It's much more difficult than what it would normally be with a regular harvester for cotton, but nonetheless, it is still interesting. And one of the things I'm thinking about doing is I'm thinking about getting the Granny's little knitting shack and just taking the loose cotton and turning it into clothing, which will allow us to make more money off of our harvest. Because as it is right now, I don't think it's going to be worthwhile. But I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think I'm going to get maybe 10,000 liters, and I just don't think that's enough to really do a whole lot. So I mean, that's only worth about $20,000, and that's just not enough to justify doing all this work for cotton. And it would take forever to pay off the equipment to harvest it. So that's why I'm kind of thinking about getting Granny's little sewing shack, and I think it would just be much more worthwhile that way. It's going to be slower, but I mean, the Granny's little shack only costs, I think, $5,500. I just had to find a spot to put it. I have a pretty good idea where I think we should place it, but clothing is just worth so much more per 1,000 liters than cotton is, and I don't know how much cotton is going to be required in order to make 1,000 liters. I mean, if it's like 5,000 cotton to make 1,000 liters, then it's definitely not worth it, because that 5,000 liters of cotton would sell for way more. So it's like $7,700 for the clothing, but it would be like $10,000 or $11,000 for the cotton. So it all is a matter of, it's got to be worthwhile. So as you can see, the AI worker is having a bit of trouble with it, but that's all right. We'll finish it up on our own later on. So I do want to take a peek at what we got overall for our soybean harvest, and that actually did 30,463 liters, which I was hopeful for 30,000 liters. So good for us. We got one pretty much on the nose. So yeah, we're gonna have $75,000 just from that harvest. That's going to be huge for us, and we won't get quite that because we're not selling to Goldcrest. I mean, it'll probably be closer to like 68,000. Still, that's good. That's a good amount of money. And we are still sitting at 28,000 liters, almost 29,000 liters of barley, which we will be able to turn that. I'm hoping that will last all the way through till next summer. And then if it does, that lets us know that we can actually sell our wheat, and we will earn an additional 32,000, which I'm trying to do is keep track of how much barley we are using per month. And it does look like it's about 3,000 to 4,000 liters. And that's not bad for the feed. I think we'll be fine if we decide to sell our wheat in if we go ahead and we sell our wheat come January. I think that'll be fine. So yeah, this is really just a short update, you guys, and we will probably just kind of continue on with this harvest. But I did want to kind of bring up those thoughts about switching over and doing something a little different with this and putting it straight into a production as opposed to what we normally would do, which is sell it outright. I mean, anything under 20,000 liters, and I just don't think that it's worth it to sell it outright. I'd much rather put it straight towards making something with the cotton as far as clothing is concerned. But yeah, please let me know in the comments what you guys think about that idea. I'm not going to jump right into it just because, you know, I don't want to have a 6-minute episode, because this is kind of cool how this thing's working. Obviously my tipper trailer is just too big, and I need to get something that is, I guess, in the realm of I don't know, a tipper trailer that's maybe like 6,000 or 7,000 liters, as opposed to trying to use this one that's 17,000. And I think I actually have it set to the, I think it's actually at the 17,000. It's not at the full 26,000. But I'm having a good time trying out a new harvesting. I already harvested the field just to kind of get the feel of it. And I did that on my own. I did not use a worker to do that one. And I'm probably going to have to do a lot of this on my own as well, just because it's only going to do so much because of the headlands. And I mean, I could probably go and cut the headlands myself right now. It'd probably do fine. I could probably get it to probably make it fairly easy to do, but I'm getting good yield off of this field, much better than I thought. So I might get to 20,000, but I doubt it. I mean, I'm just being realistic. I just don't see 20,000 liters in our future. But if, you know, if we get clothing 1-to-1 or even 100-to-1, I have to actually purchase that shack to find out, and I'll know for sure. If it's not worth it, I'm not going to keep it. I will straight away, I will sell it right back, and we'll just make like it never happened. But I think that it's a good idea to check on something like that. And I did notice that the key is getting further and further away, which is really concerning to me. The further and further he gets from doing this, it just makes me think it's going to be a nightmare the whole time. So we're going to go ahead and run this guy straight across, see if we can't I have the wrong tractor for this. I thought it would be easier to pull behind the Allis-Chalmers just for the power because of the wagon that I'm using, but I'm quickly discovering that I was wrong, because the Allis-Chalmers is much more difficult to keep straight in the line properly. But I think it'll be fine. It's fine. As you can see, I am struggling with this. I feel like this Allis-Chalmers is a little bit touchier than most tractors of this style that has the pivoting steering on the center axle. I feel like it's a little bit more touchy than the other ones. I've driven the Ford, and I've thought that one's much easier to handle. I do think that this is just a little too touchy, and it oversteers. So, I'm not a huge fan of that aspect of it. I wish it was a little bit more user-friendly on that, as far as that's concerned. But for the most part, though, this thing has not gotten a lot of use. I mean, it's only got 5.9 hours of use on it, and I've had it for quite some time. So, I mean, it's done very, very little work. It's really just to haul trailers. But I would like to have it do more work. So, otherwise, what's the point of keeping it? I should have tractors that work on the farm as opposed to, just kind of being show pieces, which this is really all this tractor has been, really. It's just for show, saying, ooh, I got a big tractor. But that's one, it's one thing to have a nice large tractor, but if it's doing nothing, then what's the point of having it? We can't really afford the luxury of just having a big tractor to have a big tractor. We've got to make sure that our equipment is all doing work for us. That way, our progression is always going forward. We're not stagnant or sideways or going backwards, for that matter. No one wants to see that. But I will say, though, I mean, the more I do drive it, the more comfortable I get with it. And I think that's true for all tractors. I do notice, though, that I miss quite a bit when I use this tractor. So, and it's regrettable that it does not have a 3-point hitch, because to me that's one of those things that it's almost necessary that you have it on all of your tractors. And so that's why this tractor probably will not be a tractor that stays all the way through the end of this playthrough, just because I want to make sure that any tractor I have is universally useful for everything I'm doing. And if it's not, might as well get rid of it. But if it's something like if I can get comfortable enough doing this type of harvesting with it, maybe that's good for this tractor, because it does have the power to pull all this. Whereas the Fiat, when this trailer gets full, it really starts to struggle. It gets bogged down, and it does struggle. So, I mean, in that regard, this tractor would be ideal power-wise, just to do this task. Now, I have gone ahead and I've sold all of my silage. I sold it a little bit early. We wound up making about almost $35,000 off of it, which that's good for us, because we are able to, not have to worry anymore in January when it comes time to sell. We've already got it sold. I know that's not really a bonus, but the way I look at silage is it's almost free money. I mean, it costs us very little to produce it. The running costs of producing it, very negligible. And I think that it's one of those. It's just it's a byproduct, really, because of the straw. It's kind of like slurry or manure, where it's a byproduct of something else. Manure and slurry, obviously being, livestock, but there is a value to having something like straw producing silage, because we're going to produce the straw anyways, or we chop it and we get no benefit from it whatsoever, and I just don't like that idea at all. So what I think I'm going to do is we will make this a shorter episode, and that way when we come back for the next episode, it's going to be combining fields and looking into that production. But yeah, I don't want to bore you guys too much with pulling cotton off the field, because it's interesting, but I don't think it's interesting enough to run a 25-minute episode on. So with that in mind, I think we'll end it here for this episode, and next time we come back, we will hopefully be combining a couple of fields into one and getting a new production, because we're wanting to move forward, right? That's what the goal is. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Share the video if you would be so kind, and also leave a comment. I want to know what you think of this method of harvesting. So you guys have a wonderful evening, and we will see you guys next time on Vintage Poorboy. Have a good one.